Thank you so much for staying here on the Joy News channel. This is Joy News Today with me, Ben. It's Abulbedo Lansa. Time now to let you know what's happening in other parts of the country. And there's mixed reaction in the one municipality of the Upper West region following the submission of preliminary findings by the 4-member joint team tasked to investigate the military brutality in Wa on July 1. In the report, which has been cited by Joy News, 3 soldiers on duty on the day have been demoted to junior ranks, whilst 8 others have been given a 30-day detention. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
Residents and shop owners at the Tendamba Crescent are still recovering from the July 1 Republic Day brutality suffered at the hands of 86 young soldiers. Stream of innocent persons were whipped with canes, others battered with boots, pushed to the gutter, and asked to lie supine. A dozen of them were subjected to military drills by being asked to roll on the hot asphalted road.
I was asked to go on the floor. So when I went on the floor, then there was a vertical bucket that people washed their hands. So they carried the water and poured on me and asked me to roll on the floor. So when I was doing that, one of them hit my head with their boots. And when I got up, I began to question them, and one also knocked my head, including.
What they told us was that we should all get down from our motorbikes and get a place to sit down. And shortly after that, they asked us to come and lie down. And then shortly after that, we realized that they started beating people, brutalizing anyone they see on their way.
They were not beating women. They only came into my shop, took lots of sachet water and said thank you. I was frightened to ask for the money.
A 4-member joint team was formed by the National Security, comprising 2 officers from the Military High Command and the National Investigation Bureau, NIB. They began sitting on Monday and have already met at least 16 of the victims and witnesses. The joint team, led by Colonel BZ Ayorogo, also met at least 30 of the 86 rookie soldiers and has already submitted their preliminary findings. The orderly, guard commander, and the sentry has been demoted from their ranks to lower ranks. 8 other rookie soldiers who were seen on various videos brutalizing some residents have been awarded each 30 days in detention.
This is the place where the army brutality took place in Wa. A lot of people in the Upper West region have a lot of reverence for soldiers.
The big question, however, is that can the punishment of demotion and 30-day detention suffice for the brutality they suffered? Or is the punishment less or harsh?
Actually, what I want to be given to them, like I just want them to just take them out of business, like they should just sack them so that they shouldn't be able to go into any forces again.
To me, I was even like scared that maybe I don't want them to sack them, because when they sack them, they'll go out there to be a criminals. Some are even turning to armed robbers to kill us at the same time as they did. So it's better for them to do like they should go through the punishment and they should let them remain there. To me, the punishment is cool.
They should take the said group that acted this way back to Accra or headquarters that they think they can give them discipline. The training that has been given to them has been misappropriately applied.
For some, the respect they used to have for the military has now been flamed out.
I think the respect that the people of Upper West have for the military it has gone off. At first, when you see a military man, you only look at the person and admire the person being a military man. But for what they did, when you see a military man, you see the person that fear that we used to have that for military is due before you complain as getting out of us. So we don't have any respect for them.
For most residents in the one municipality, they could not be forgiven or forgotten unless justice has taken its course. For the chain of impunity has permanently been broken for unconscionable crimes such as these. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
And here in Accra, Bernice Abubedu answer to some other stories. Now, some MPs have defended government's decision to absorb up to 60% of the car loan being given to members of the 8th Parliament. Deputy Finance Minister Abna Osei-Asare laid a paper on the floor of the House requesting approval of the facility. Details from the document show government will, on a monthly basis, pay up to 60% of the cost, while MPs pay 40%. Government will also absorb the full interest cost on the loan, and tax waiver will separately be given on the vehicle. Keta MP Kwame Gape insists the arrangement still places a burden on the MP.
About the car loan, I will tell you outright rejection, because my issue with the car loan is that this is a loan being given to members of parliament, and then we are also part of the running of the government of the day. We are the arms, one arm of what governance when it comes to this country. So the loan they are giving us, the loan is not yet, the processes are currently underway. And then since I came to Parliament in January, they have started deducting the loan from my salary. And then the car was not, we are not yet, to procure the car. We are yet to procure. It's already 7 months now. Are you getting the point? So we are equally important in terms of running of the governance in this country. So the needful, my recommendation to government is that how they always buy vehicles for ministries, departments, MCs and DCs, they give them car. The car, they fuel it, they are entitled to driver, and then maintenance are all borne by the state. So they should procure 275 vehicles, assign drivers, fuel it, do maintenance, and then assign to members of parliament to use. At the end of the day, when we are going, we leave it as how ministries and departments and government offices run, because this is a part of governance. But this car loan given to you, you must know that you are paying for it. You are buying your own fuel. You are doing your own maintenance. Nobody will give you maintenance fee. At the end of the day, you are paying the driver. So which is better? I will go for total rejection of the loan and then go for the routine running of government, have to procure and distribute and then maintain.
Meanwhile, it is emerging that the recommendation for government to take up to 60% of that loan is a recommendation from the Professor Bedu Ntiama Committee's report, which gave recommendations for emolument for Article 71 office holders. And the report says MPs should get loans not exceeding $80,000, and government would have to pay for not more than 60% of the loan and also pay the interest on that. Joining us live from Parliament, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo. Hello, Joseph. Tell us more on this as we are being told.
You recall that this is actually a committee that President Akufo-Addo did put together to recommend emolument for members of the executive as well as the judiciary and the legislature. And the portion that specifically has to do with members of parliament, let me just go through that very quickly. It says that the states, beyond paying them salaries, which I will detail in a while, would have to give them other facilities as well while in office, and that includes transportation. And it says the state shall facilitate a car loan not exceeding $80,000. And then it goes on to say that the state should take responsibility for payment of 60% of the costs of the vehicle and also take responsibility for the interest on the loan. So that's captured there. And then there are other provisions in there as far as facilities for members of parliament are concerned. It says that there will be security for them, and that will be 5% of consolidated salary, which should be provided for them as allowance for security. And it goes on to say there will be accommodation for them, an official one, or then there will be 20% of consolidated salary in lieu of official accommodation. Then it goes on to say there will be office accommodation as well for them. And then it goes on to additionally say that there will be other benefits, including the installation grants equivalent to 2 months' salary paid only once on assumption of office. So all that is listed as what members of parliament are supposed to get apart from their salary. And with regards to the figures for the salary, the committee's report says that when it comes to ordinary members of parliament, they are to earn 28,000 Ghana cedis. And then the Speaker of Parliament would earn 35,000 cedis. The First Deputy would earn 33,000. And then the figure keeps going down as far as the other leaders in the House are concerned. Benis.
And on this particular issue, in defense of getting the vehicle, some MPs claim that some of their colleagues come in commercial vehicles. Are you able to confirm that?
Well, that's a point that the MP for Midday, Roxy Nafiamako, has made and insisted that, particularly for the new members of parliament who actually come in, they don't have the privilege that the sitting and retaining members of parliament have to have. Then probably acquired a vehicle over the last 4 years. I wouldn't be able to independently confirm that, but he's not the only one who's made that point. Mr. Kwame Gakpe, who we spoke to a while ago, also referenced some of their colleagues who have come to Parliament using Uber rides and other forms of transportation.
Gakpo, we'll leave it here for now. That's parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Still while in Parliament, Health Minister Kwaku Agyeman-Manu has welcomed the House's decision to set up a committee to probe government contracts for the purchase of Sputnik V vaccines from Russia. The probe was approved after the majority side threw its weight behind a motion by Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu. Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak says Mr. Agyeman-Manu was untruthful to Parliament on the cost of vaccines and he must be probed.
The Minister for Health had not been sincere to the Committee of Parliament because, Mr. Speaker, I hold in my hand the vote and proceedings of Wednesday, 24th of March 2021. 2021, yes. During budget hearing at the committee, precisely on 22nd of March, the meeting was held around 11 a.m. That was Monday, 22nd. When the minister was telling the committee of this house that, we should help approve the allocation for vaccines because no vaccine will be procured for more than $10. This was on 22nd March. The minister knew very well that by that 22nd March, on the 9th of March, he had gone to sign a contract for $19. Yet, he had the courage to come to the Committee of Parliament on 22nd to virtually lie to the committee that this vaccine will not be procured for more than $10 US. Mr. Speaker, this is the reason, one of the reasons why this must be probed. Because if a member of parliament and a minister of this house, a minister of parliament, a minister of health.
The health minister Kwaku Agyeman-Manu says he's ready to face the committee.
I believe at the committee level, I will get the opportunity to actually respond adequately to issues being raised. But what I want to say, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that I'll reiterate protection of lives as a priority to the issues that have been raised. I will demonstrate at the committee level that I have never caused any financial losses to the state by virtue of the intention to procure and acquire vaccines to fight the battle. Mr. Speaker, it is true that the government has spent a lot of money in battling COVID-19. But the investment we have made has yielded positive results. And that is situated in the performance of how this COVID battle has been battled in this country. Mr. Speaker, WHO assessment indicates that two countries that got things right with COVID management is Ghana and South Korea. And this is on record. And we couldn't have done that. Ghana and South Korea are the two countries on WHO assessment that got it right when it comes to management of COVID in the world, not only in Africa, but across the globe. How did we do it? Mr. Speaker, we invested not only with financial resources, but with our blood, with strength, sleepless nights, good thinking, science and data to have arrived at where we are. Mr. Speaker, when we were dying in February and March and April, nobody raised these issues. After fighting the battle to the extent that now things are stabilizing for us, that is when we are coming out. But the president warned those of us who were leading the battle that whatever we do, we should situate ourselves properly because there will be time for accountability. And I'm not surprised that it is even now. Mr. Speaker, I am ever ready on behalf of government, like I signed the agreement, to demonstrate that we did things that will protect the states, the population, and to make sure that we won the battle against COVID. And that is exactly what we have done, Mr. Speaker. I'll wait for when I'm invited to come and sit in front of the committee to answer questions that I believe I can easily answer.
Away from Parliament, but still on COVID, our case count in Ghana is rising, moving from 80 to 125 in just a week. And there you can see, this is from the Health Ministry's dashboard. There are 125 new cases. Active cases have risen to 1,893. And you can get more details on this from the Ghana Health Service page and get the breakdown as to regional cases. But the Ashanti and Greater Accra still top the chart on the regions with the most cases. Well, in view of this, the Ghana Health Service is asking Ghanaians to be on high alert as it works to contain the deadly Delta strain of the virus, which has been detected in infections among students and teachers of the Achimota School. As many as 163 persons were found to be positive after 118 samples were tested. Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Isidibeku, says they are restricting movement to and from the school as they work to prevent a spread to the community. He spoke on Joy News Prime.
Yes, so clearly let me tell you that Achimota situation is really stable. You have a situation whereby you have two streams of students. So you have day students and you have boarders. And then you have an initial report of 3 students. Immediately, the health system is alerted, and then they isolate them and test them, and then they do contact tracing. So they further identify more contacts, and then they put them under isolation. The other issue is that you have a situation whereby you have day students. So the idea is that what do you do to these day students? So we try to test all the day students. We've actually done the testing of the day students. We've gone ahead to do testing of the teachers and non-teaching staff. We've even given vaccinations from the teachers. So clearly the Achimota situation is contained. This is an outbreak in the confined environment. What is good for us is that we're able to ascertain that we have a Delta variant in the country, in the community. So I think that is the health system is in charge of the situation. And let me also state that we have actually done over 1,100 tests, and the results is that we have about 183 positive cases, but about 4/5 of them have been discharged. Currently, as I speak, we have just 46 cases being active. So it's a situation which is under control.
Away from COVID, residents of Pokuase and its environs can now heave a sigh of relief as government commissions the 4-tier Pokuase interchange. The interchange, which is described as the biggest in West Africa, is expected to deal with the traffic situation around the Pokuase junction by easing streams of traffic that conflict on the Awoshi, Pokuase and Accra Kumasi roads. Patting himself on the back for a job well done, President Akufo-Addo described the NPP government as protectors of the public purse. He also used the opportunity to talk about other road constructions going on in the country.
The widening of the Insawam Road by some 2 kilometers, drainage works, the provision of street lights, and the construction of 12 kilometers of town roads. It also involved the rehabilitation of the Kobiman Women's Group Center to train women in pastry, bread, soap, and bead making. The rehabilitation of the Manchie Gari factory for the processing of cassava into gari and starch. The protection of the 3-hectare Gua sacred forest, and the provision of ICT labs for 14 basic schools, which will help train some 10,000 basic school children within the Ghana North, South, Central, and West municipalities with knowledge in information and communications technology. The completion of the Pokwase interchange is an integral part of comprehensive measures put in place by government to address the issues of congestion in urban centers and to help improve travel times on major arterial roads. To this end, the following interchanges are being constructed. Phase 2 of Tebelamti interchange. Work on the north-south viaduct to link the Ring Road West to the Central Mosque at Abusu Okai is progressing steadily and is 15% complete. The works are expected to be completed in 2022. B. Tamale Interchange. This is the first interchange in the northern part of our country and is 73% complete. It will be completed by the end of this year. C. The PTC roundabout interchange in Takrade, for which work will commence next month in August. This will be the first interchange in the Western region. D. The Nungwa interchange, which is part of the La Beach Road completion project. Road works are progressing steadily, and the contractor has since commenced the piling works for the interchange. E. The Ajenglano overpass, whose ongoing works will be completed by the first quarter of 2022. And F. The Tema motorway interchange, for which phase 1 has been completed and is being used by motorists. Construction of the second phase of the interchange will start before the end of this year.
Meanwhile, some drivers are expressing concerns about navigating the 4-tier interchange. Road users will have to be extra careful not to end up at a totally different destination from their intended destination. My colleague Kuku Asante spoke with some of them.
Very complex. Part of it goes to Awoshi, part of it goes to Kwabenya, and then part of it, of course, goes to Accra before the Pokwase side of this interchange. And some drivers have been complaining about the difficulty they face in terms of being able to navigate where exactly they are going and which exact path they have to use without challenges.
When the interchange is new, people will definitely miss their way. But for those of us who always use this road, it is easier for us to figure out where to pass.
Because I'm used to the road already, so as they were building it, I was around and I'm looking at how it's going, so there's no problem about it. Right. Those who are, they are new to the road, but they will find it a little bit, difficult too. So for now, yeah.
It's a bit complicated for us since it's very new and some of our colleague drivers missed their way.
Of course, this interchange will come with some billboards designating the paths drivers are supposed to use, whether they are going to Awoshi side of the interchange or whether they are going to Pokwase or to Accra.
Our appeal is for authorities to immediately install the signages to direct road users on where each path leads to.
But for now here, police officers have been stationed under the bridge, trying to explain to drivers and trying to explain to them where exactly they must pass to be able to reach their destination.
We were very happy to see the road safety personnel to bring handouts just yesterday, you understand, which you're going to direct the drivers how they are going to go through the flyover, excuse me. Exactly.
The Awoshi-Pokwase interchange is expected to remove traffic bottleneck at the Pokwase junction by easing the streams of traffic that connect the Awoshi-Pokwase and Accra-Kumasi roads. The Accra-Kumasi highway, which has 4 lanes, 2 each on the main carriageways, forms the first tier. Traffic movement from Nsawam towards Kwabenya and Awoshi and from Accra towards Awoshi and Kwabenya forms the second tier. The third tier controls traffic movement from Kwabenya to Accra and Nsawam and from Awoshi to Nsawam and Accra. The fourth tier is designed to move vehicular traffic from Awoshi to Kwabenya and vice versa.
From the newly built Pokwase interchange, Kweku Asante for Joy News.
Thank you for staying here on Joy News. Today we'll take a quick breather here. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories. Do stay. Thank you for staying here on Joy News today with me, Bernice Abubedulansa. Now, residents in communities in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region affected by tidal waves have reechoed calls for resettlement. They are suggesting government temporarily resettles them on parcels of land beyond the lagoon, while plans are extended to build the sea defense to protect their communities. The residents made a passionate appeal when the Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Jifa Gomashi, presented some clothes donated by the Ghana Islamic Mission to the victims.
Thousands of residents in Agaveji, Sarakope and Amuchinu are bearing the brunt of tidal waves devastation on the shores of the Gulf of Guinea. The affected residents of these communities in the Ketu South municipality are compelled to put up makeshift structures. The structures made of palm fronds and clothing have been erected on dumping sites along the lagoon. Daniel Komitete explains life has been unbearable for them within the last 3 years. The sea has swallowed the majority of our communities within the last 3 years. About 17 households live in these makeshift structures. We have nowhere else to go. We have to take shelter in a nearby church when it rains. There's nothing to eat. We can't fish because our nets are all torn. This is because the base of the sea is full of the debris of our buildings.
We are settled
in between the sea and the lagoon. The entire place gets flooded when it rains. The government must ensure the sea defense wall is extended to protect our communities. The development has left some of the victims traumatized as the sea has consumed all they had toiled for in their lives. They are not assured of where the next meal will come from, nor where to lay their head for a good night's sleep. Community leaders made a passionate appeal to the government to resettle them beyond the lagoon. The Ketu South Member of Parliament, Jifa Gomashi, entreated the relevant institutions to consider the proposal and come out with a suitable resettlement plan for her constituents.
I'd like to, on behalf of the people of Agavaji, Amuchinu and Salakopa, make a passionate appeal to the state through His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. President, my people need a place to lay their heads. As a layperson, I can see the land across from the lagoon, but that would be just me speaking.
It's now time to take a breather here on Joy News today for Sports Update Tuesday.
Good afternoon. Thanks very much for joining me for Sports on Joy News today. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. There's hunger that Ghanaians wants to win the African Cup of Nations 2022. But one person who will be leading the senior national team to ensure that a drought of 39 years of waiting to win the African Cup of Nations comes to an end is Andre Ayew, skipper of the senior national team. He says that before they can chalk that success, the whole nation must throw their weight behind them. But they must end that support.
we all know the reasons of all this divorce or the word that we use towards that. But I believe deep inside me that every single Ghanaian loves the Black Stars. You know, you can love your wife and be angry. You love your son, but you're angry at him. And I think that's been the relationship between the Black Stars and the supporters and the all Ghanaians. But the feeling I'm having is that they are waiting for us to give them something, you know, to give them something to spark. And I feel it's starting to come. I feel that the belief is growing. I feel we have young, talented players and older ones who make the team get attractive again. There are a lot of positives, you know, there are a lot of positives. I think the negatives now are becoming less and less on the pitch and off the pitch. We need to try and keep doing that. As the captain, I know is very important. I would wish not to be thinking about this, but just to focus on how I can get my players, you know, mentally on top for us to perform. But it's a life. I wouldn't say that it's something that we look at, because we will need the support from our nation if we want to do something. You know, we will need it. We're not, you know, we can't sit here and tell them that they have to believe that we are going to win, or they should bet that we are going to win. But that feeling that they are behind us, you know. But that is also something that we have to earn. And I think we started the right way by qualifying
for the African
Cup. Now the World Cup qualifiers are coming, and I believe that if we give them a good run of games, by the time we get to General, we're going to Cameroon.
And the powerful discord between Ghanaians and the Black Stars started in 2014 when they demanded their appearance fees in the 2014 FIFA World Cup. On this note, I ask you to head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories. I am Muftau Nabila Ablai. Up next is Showbiz.